You think it's the R, but it's really the C. It's going to be cold or
No.
just a conversation.
And we're going to do this routinely.
I think that'd be good. Yeah. So, I mean, that. I love the smile to the camera. I think that'd be fine, and then over time it will become like a time capsule. Like each episode, I'll have more and more tattoos, and
And I'll have more and more wrinkles.
I was going to say grey hairs.
I've already got lots of grey.
I'm getting grey in the beard, but
You think
can't really.
grey's more noticeable when you've had very dark hair, maybe?
Yeah, I'm fairly ginger, so when I go grey, it'll be like gold, and
Yeah.
I'm quite excited.
It's funny because, like, you know, you lose. It's a weird thing. I mean, I don't know. You may tell that I'm really hairy,
Yeah,
and the irony of the fact that you lose it off your head,
yeah.
and your eyebrows are wanting to grow more and more,
Yeah.
and all the other hairs.
When I was a teenager, I had a friend who was maybe 18 or 19, and he was really receding, but hairy. And so we always used to say, oh, you can do a comb over from your back to your head.
Yeah.
And he didn't appreciate that very much.
It's actually, you know, it's actually quite a problem. Like, just to buy a T-shirt, because my really hairy back,
Yeah.
and it just looks.
Do you have the like the full coverage on the arm and
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah.
And it's just unsightly. You can't find. If I get a T-shirt, I want to get something that's really close. That's why I tend to like to wear a proper shirt.
Yeah.
Because it just covers all the back up.
Uh-huh.
And you know the front. The front you can trim yourself with clippers.
Yeah.
The back's a bit more challenging.
Yeah. Well, I got a back tattoo yesterday, and so
Did that have to be all shaved off then to do the tattoo?
just where he was going to do it. He didn't do. It wasn't like a full service kind of shave or anything, but when I went to do the chest, I did it myself. But you don't always know where they're going to be putting things, so instead of just shaving around the area, you do the whole thing, and you get there, and you're like, oh well, I didn't need to shave that, but here we are.
When I do uncomfortable, you'd have to cut those bits out.
Yeah, if you want me to.
I don't want anything that makes me look stupid.
Okay. I think we've bitten off more than we can chew.
Do you know, I didn't realise, I thought I was all right for hair. And then I was working at another place where we were making overhead sensors with cameras in.
Okay, yeah.
And
You're getting a really bird's eye view.
Well, yeah, it was. Do you know, it's in the really early stages of the product development, and the CEO decided, as we walked to the pub, he would carry one of our cameras on a pole and capture some footage. Oh, it wasn't one of our cameras. It was to capture footage to put through a neural network processor.
Yep.
So it's just a camera. Oh gosh! And then when he shared the footage, and I saw, it was the first time I'd seen that there's this like thinning patch here.
Yeah.
And to me, it just looks like it's bald because of the shock of, maybe it is. And I was just devastated that I never got to see that angle and how bad it is. And it's almost like it'd be better if it was an actual defined circle,
Yeah.
but it's just like gaps.
So do you think the day will come where you'll just start shaving it?
Yeah. But I don't think I look right with a shaved head.
You've got a funny shaped skull or something.
Yeah. Or just a bit like, you know, when you hear your own voice, as we will do on this.
We will do.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but it sounds weird.
Yeah, it does. I think I'm starting to get used to the sound of my own voice on recording. But
I'm not sure you're ever supposed to say that, though.
Well, no, but right now I can feel I'm talking a little differently, and I'm not sure if that's because in my head I'm like, yes, I will have to listen to this, even if all I do is edit it and never watch it.
Yeah. But it must be, like, if you're an actor, you must get so used to your own voice that it becomes okay.
Yeah. I think it's mine, like I don't record myself a lot, but I think now it's almost normal to hear my own voice on recording, where it used to be, super foreign, like looking in a mirror, but audio, like really weird to you,
Yeah.
like the way you perceive
I
yourself.
found another similarity with video as well, actually. Then, you know, when you're in a video chat or something, if you're seeing your face, and as any video like this, if you're seeing your face as other people would see it,
Yep.
it freaks me out. Like you see the difference in symmetry flip
Yeah.
of you, like different size eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
When you look at yourself in the mirror, it's a different view,
Yep.
and that's the one I've been looking at all these years.
Yeah.
So then, when if you set a webcam up and you don't mirror it, so that you can put your right hand up and your right hand goes up, yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
just like a mirror. Then that also makes me freaked out a little bit. That's not the face that I know.
Yeah. There's apps like TikTok and things, they've got filters where it does it the non-mirrored way, so it's the way that other people see you, and there's lots of people getting their reaction of seeing that for the first time, and it's you wouldn't think it would make that much of a difference.
No.
I don't think I've looked at it really. Like I've always seen the mirrored video of myself.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. This is mirrored.
For me too. That's
Okay.
coincidental.
There you go. I feel like this is good, light-hearted to start the conversation, so we're not getting into the.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads. So many topics that we touch on that are actually quite deep, and don't know how far. Things I'd like to go over at some point over the next 5 years of these recordings.
Yeah, for the early years.
Religion.
Politics.
Yeah. Are we always going to be honest in these conversations?
Yeah.
And then cut out what can't be honestly told to the public?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we may cut this part out, we may not, but you can.
It's okay to tell these guys that we're being honest about being honest.
You won't tell anyone. Yeah, and after even if we want to talk about something, and then afterwards I'm like, yeah, let's put that in. Something about my dad or something, and you're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah. The thing is, actually, I'll tell you something about leadership. I find it easier to tell people above me that I don't agree with something or that I think it's not right.
Yeah.
I find it a lot harder to do that with people who report to me.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because I don't fear being sacked.
Yep.
Or like, I always believe that my heart's in what I'm doing and I want the right thing for whoever it is I work for. And I always know that I can find my way. I don't need anybody. Like, I don't need your dad. If he said tomorrow, I don't need you anymore, then that's fine. I can find my own way. I'd like to think that we'd stay friends.
Yep.
But I'll do something else. But to tell somebody who reports to you that you don't like something has the chance of them not liking you, or like I suppose I have a desire to be liked by people, and I don't want them to feel. When I tell somebody something, it's actually never personal.
Yep.
It's just about the facts that from my perspective, which could be wrong,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be disliked.
Yep.
Whereas I sometimes think that the people that pay me, their picture's a bit bigger than that. They don't worry so much about whether somebody dislikes them. I don't know.
Yeah.
You got any thoughts on?
When I'm also in a position of leadership.
You say when? I mean, you are.
Yeah, I am. I was talking to one of the guys earlier today, today. It all molds into one, and told him he had to fix a few things in the warehouse, and I think I said, I told him I'd fix all this up, and the two things I always say is like, I don't know everything, and like, you have valid experiences and thoughts and different ideas and everything, and so like, present your ideas or whatever, because I can't know everything and have all the best ideas, but there will be still some times where I'm like, no, that's crap, and it's not because I don't like you, it's just because we're going to do it this way instead.
Yeah.
But I don't think I mind if anyone doesn't like me.
You don't?
Nah, I think when I was younger, I didn't care if anyone didn't like me, and then I had this weird phase in between then and little while ago, where I did care if people liked me or not. And now I'm back to, I think in a few aspects of my life, I'm back to the old ways of not caring and stuff like that about a lot of things.
I mean, I've been accused of being... Sorry, no, that would be the wrong word. Somebody's identified in me in the past that I'm very black and white about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see that there's a whole grey scale in between. So when you say you don't care about whether people like you, you said that in a very black or white way. Would you
Yeah.
say actually you are on a scale, but very close to you don't care?
Yeah, as far as like me caring if people like me, or if me caring if all people like
No,
me.
just you caring if people like you, not all people.
Yeah, like,
I mean, you've got a girlfriend. You've got to care if she likes you. Like that
Yeah.
matters to you. I'm assuming.
If we're together, it matters to me. But if we weren't together and she didn't like me, then that almost makes sense.
Yeah, that's logical.
But like, if one of the staff members didn't like me, as long as they did their job, I don't think I'd be too bothered. Like, that being said, I don't like telling people to pull their finger out. It's either, and generally, this is a hot take for everyone, with a lot of things, I'm all or nothing. So I'll walk past you, not say anything, or I'll walk past you and tear you a new one. There's no like, oh, maybe let's try it this way. It's like, were
Yeah.
you born in a barn kind of thing?
See, I find you to be really pleasant, and always chilled. But I do remember noticing you get frustrated once.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember me being with you when you got frustrated.
They
Not at
they
me.
all
You
they
just
all
got
meld
frustrated.
into one as well.
Yeah.
I have been taking what do you call them? Mood stabilizers, and they help a lot. But you've got to remember to take them.
Do you need to take them?
Yeah. Well, I have a prescription for them. I don't buy them from a guy down at the pub. But yeah, there's like 3 new knife holes in the wall in production and stuff like that.
But is that isn't everybody? This is me trying to push the not black and white thing, and
Mm-hmm.
isn't everybody on this scale of like things will make them angry and
They must be. I think everyone will get angry. It's how you process that emotion. Like, and you can process physically. Stabbing a wall is one way to outwardly express your emotions, but it doesn't mean that I feel that emotion more than you or someone else, some
Yeah.
imaginary person who might go, oh, that's unpleasant, what am I going to do about that, or whatever. Whereas
they may feel it just the same.
yeah, they just have more practice with processing it or sitting with that emotion and what they do about it.
So you take these are prescribed to you,
Yeah.
and is that because you've got a specific diagnosis about your mood, or?
Yes. I think from my little experience with like a diagnosis of any kind is you could see 10 different people on 20 different days and you'd have a different diagnosis every
Yeah.
time. So
You're talking specifically about mental kind of issues.
yeah.
More than the ones where there's an absolute thing on your legs chopped off.
Yeah. Well, I've known people who've gone to the hospital with like a broken foot and they can't read an X-ray to save their life, and they're like, yeah, just walk it off.
Yeah.
But
There's slightly different, aren't they? Because that's just stupidity of the staff member.
yeah,
Whereas mental, they can only work with you to extract from you what they need to know.
A lot of it is about either what they observe or how good you are at relaying your feelings or telling a story kind of thing.
Although if they could do like those, I don't know what the correct technical term would be, but almost like live MRIs that I see on Grey's Anatomy, and they could poke the bear and see what happens. Maybe they could say more, absolutely, that part of your brain shouldn't be activated for any other person in this situation.
Yeah.
I get angry. I'm not very good at processing my emotions.
It's because we're men.
Thing. If you watch can you watch a film and it make you cry?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
But not often.
I don't cry. I cry, but I often don't cry in situations where like everyone's crying.
You don't cry often in situations where everyone's crying.
Like the times where you're like, oh, I should be sad right now and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel what you're feeling or what's normal to feel and stuff.
Have you attended a funeral of a close family member?
Yeah, as kids I did.
Oh, not in more adult times.
No, I have. My my ex-wife's mother passed away when we were married.
Okay.
So my mother-in-law.
Ex-mother-in-law.
Ex-mother-in-law.
Deceased.
The late and great.
The late
Jokes aside.
So I didn't realise he was married though. So
yeah.
I've learned something already. You'd not told me that before, I don't think.
It was funny when I was at uni because, I get told I don't necessarily look my age. I definitely don't act my age.
And you're 47 at the minute.
I'm nearly 48.
How old are you?
33.
10 years younger than me.
This is what I've got to look forward to, everyone.
Yeah, this bald patch.
I'm looking forward to going bald.
You're joking?
Just so I can have a big beard and no hair.
Because that's going to make that grow faster.
Oh, it grows fast already. Yeah,
but you don't need to look forward to going bald. You can have the choices as you can now.
Yeah.
I mean, you did it.
I just don't like being able to make the choice.
You don't like being able to make the choice?
Yeah, because I regret the choices I make. If it's out of my hands, then
you can't be blamed for that choice.
Yeah, and I don't have to feel bad.
You know, believe me, when I feel that once you start losing, you want the choice back.
But yeah, at uni sometimes, every now and then in conversation, I'd be in a group of people who knew me better than others, and I'd drop something about my ex-wife or something like that, and just to see other people's reactions, because they were all, I don't know, 18 to 25 or something like that, so it's not...
So what age did you get divorced? I'm assuming it's divorced.
Yeah. No, I buried her in the backyard.
So what age did you get divorced? We can do it in chronological order. What age did you get married?
21.
And you was together married for?
4.5 years.
All right.
So
What happened there then? I just thought I was still having my microphone recorded then. So,
it probably dropped out.
all right.
We shall see.
So, married at 21,
Yep.
divorced 4.5 years later. Have I got that right?
Separated 4.5 years later, and then you wait the 1 year to prove you really mean it, and then you can get divorced.
Oh, you're not allowed to get divorced. You've got to meet certain criteria.
Yeah. Yep. And then, yeah, that's a funny story.
So, yeah.
You want to hear it? Oh,
So, you were just about to tell me why you got divorced or what happened.
well, I got divorced because I shouldn't have gotten married in the first place.
Very clever. Why did you get married?
Seemed like a good idea at the time. I was 19 when we got engaged, and she was like my first girlfriend. Well,
Yeah.
not like my first serious girlfriend. Yeah, what?
I was going to ask a question, but I'll warm into it.
Okay. I was recently sort of breaking away from the fold, as far as some people call it a religion, I call it a cult. See, I don't know if are my parents going to watch this.
Oh dear. Okay, so we've gone to the side. What we're saying, we've crossed the line now, and we can talk about Bradley.
So we'll edit all that stuff you said in about him back in. And I was.
So just putting that in, like, because you said it almost like jokingly, but what you're saying is you wanted to be independent and you want to make your own choices about
That's a great way of putting
religion and things like that, and stand on your
Yeah.
own 2 feet and,
Yeah, and I
and
didn't.
be an adult.
Yeah. But I got myself into a situation where my partner was very excited about getting married, and then it really didn't take long before I was like, but didn't like confrontation at all and didn't know what to do about it, and kind of.
Oh, because your instinct wasn't, yes, let's get married. Your instinct was, oh, I don't want to, but I don't want to
Yeah,
cause...
I can't really deal with the.
You want to
what it
make her
would-
happy,
Yeah,
and you don't want to say no.
yeah.
That's when you was 19 getting engaged, or is that when you actually got to the...
Like when I was 19, getting
Yeah.
like, and like, I bought the ring and popped the question and everything. So like, I could have not done that, but I think, on the night that I proposed, I was like, what have I done?
But you did love her, and
Yeah, and
you did
She's-
think that you wanted to be together forever at that time.
yeah, yeah, and there wasn't anything wrong with her as a person. Like, she was hardworking and intelligent. We just butted heads. Well, we didn't butt heads at all. We just weren't right for each other. And and like, it wasn't necessarily like, if we were together forever, it wouldn't have necessarily been a bad life or anything. Like, lots of people have it a lot worse than I did. But I think I had a lot of sort of figuring out who I was and what I wanted and everything, and it was clear it wasn't going to align with the path that she had chosen for me.
Right.
Us, yeah. So when we separated, like, the stage in life that we were at was like in sort of but her view of our lives for the next 50 years was we were trying to for kids and stuff like that.
Oh, so this thing, I know that you've revealed to me before that you don't want kids. That has been a constant thing for you.
No, when I was younger, I wanted kids.
Younger meaning?
38.
Oh, so,
Yeah.
sorry, hang on. Had you wanted kids when you was 19 to 21?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But you're saying that she had this, by the time you got to separating, she perhaps had a view of a life with kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, but you didn't want them with her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And I don't know if I wanted them then, but yeah, when I was younger, growing up, you know, we were taught get married and have kids and everything like that. So that was, you know, what I thought about growing up. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah. And yeah, now the rest is history. Now I'm gonna live in a bus down by the river.
It's interesting. So, just backing up a little bit.
Oh, we are recording. Yeah, go ahead.
So you said first proper girlfriend, is that what you said?
Yeah.
And what's proper girlfriend mean?
Longer than a month, maybe.
Right. Doesn't mean something else.
Yes, not technically, but if you're posing that question, yes.
It was first.
Yeah, for both of us.
Yeah. So
The joys of a cheap Canon camera.
can we do something
Yeah,
in the lab to make it go longer?
maybe. I'll have a look. You know, touch two wires together or something.
Get a relay that just keeps. Oh, it needs to be a silent relay. That
Oh,
keeps,
the microphones are over here,
true.
so it won't pick anything up.
Yeah. What's it got to have to? What does it have to experience to keep it so it's not the timeout?
Just something in the firmware.
I mean,
I think
will a
it's
little
to do-
touch of the focus button do it? Or?
No, it's simply just being that it's
Oh,
on
yeah.
recording.
What have I got? I think I might have a Canon. I think there's a little firmware hack that you can get.
Yeah, we'll have to have a look.
Yeah. That's for another video.
Yes,
We still wanna know
season
about-
2.
Yeah, we still want to know about. So I'm not sure what we'll have missed, but in the recording. But you said you were. I was asking if you'd thought about when you was deciding to leave your wife. How much effort did you put into the thought? How long was it with you for before you actually did it? Whether you was having doubts about even splitting up, and whether you discussed it with anybody.
I used to talk to my mate Ben about it. He was the best man at my wedding, and
And your best friend generally.
yeah, and he knew like how I felt, but I hadn't really thought, oh, I'm gonna say one day, you know, this is not working, and thanks, pal, no hard feelings or anything. My separation from my wife wasn't thought out or well executed or anything. It was actually 2 days ago is when, however many years ago, was when we like separated, and that's a
Oh, sorry. It's 2 days after the anniversary of you separating.
yeah,
Today.
yeah,
Oh, right. This is very topical then.
yeah.
How many days ago did you have that tattoo?
Yesterday,
Right.
I took annual leave to.
Sorry, can I just get a phone call
Yeah.
from... See you in a bit, bye-bye. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Where did we get to?
me separating.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say was, I'll give you the cut down version that I'll make up on the fly. But basically, when I was married, I was unhappy and I drank a lot, like regularly. And pretty much the whole time I was...
And we're not talking Red Bull, we're talking alcohol.
Yeah, the naughty stuff.
Yeah.
And on a number of occasions when we were like engaged, and then when we were married, I would, like, if I was really drunk at a party, I'd like kiss someone and stuff like that.
Somebody else?
Yeah.
Oh, you player.
I'm a bad person. And she, as far as I know, she only knows about one of them, which is...
Oh, so at least you didn't do it in front of her face.
Yeah.
I like how you answered.
Wait for this. I did it in front of her. The last time I did it in front of her brother, and
Thinking that her brother was on side with you and he's not too much of a grass? Or...
No, thinking that the next day nothing would matter.
Oh, just because you're drunk and all that? And...
No, not exactly.
So how would you think in the next day it wouldn't matter?
I didn't think I was going to be here necessarily. And we can laugh about that, that's fine. So I left the party and I planned to go somewhere to...
I don't know what to what is that?
to kill myself.
All right. Okay.
And then I sobered up a
So
bit.
seriously, you serious?
I had a spot picked out and I was on my way.
And did you tell anybody about this?
No.
So for me, that is a sign of... Oh, sorry, I'm no expert. But I get the impression, and I'm not very well educated in this, of course, but from what I've seen, I get the impression that if somebody's serious, they don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
The ones that are telling people, they're highly unlikely to kill themselves. And there's a not that they don't deserve the attention, but it's a cry for attention, which they should be given, but they're unlikely to.
I personally have limited experience with people who are suicidal, like probably two people, and one has been on one end of the spectrum where they're constantly posting videos about and, telling everyone, and the other
they've
one...
had enough.
Yeah, and the other one, nothing, and they've probably had as many attempts as each other.
Oh, actual attempts?
Yeah.
Right. Attempts where...
They end up in hospital.
But were the attempts as serious as each other in the possibility of success?
Probably.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm also no expert. But anyway, I sobered up. I was like, this isn't great. Caught a taxi to the airport. I was like, I'll go to Queensland where it's warm, withdraw all the money on my credit cards and disappear.
On your credit cards, meaning you'd owe it back?
Yeah, but it'd be like cash and I'd change my identity or something.
Yeah.
Like 3 a.m. thought process. And then woke up in the airport as my plane was about to start boarding, and I was like, I should probably go home. And my father-in-law had been to the house and told my wife what was happened, and I hadn't come back I was staying at a share accommodation for a sporting event with her brother, and so she knew everything already. But I got home and I was like, oh yeah, this and that, and she said, like, she was getting ready for work on a Monday, and she said that I should get my things and go to my parents' house, and she meant get a weekend bag or something and and she got home from work that day, and bedroom, office and double garage of everything I owned was out of the house. And
Was there a misinterpretation?
There wasn't a misinterpretation.
There wasn't?
No.
You knew that she was just talking about going to spend some time with your parents?
And
She was thinking of you?
Yeah.
She was thinking, you need to go be
Yeah.
with mum and dad.
Yeah, and I was like, this looks like a great easy out. I'm a mature person who can speak about my feelings, and moved in with mum and dad, and she got home at the end of the day and was obviously like, what the hell? Yeah. And even,
But I mean, what was her? Did she phone and say, Joseph? I didn't mean like just
yeah,
I just meant just for the weekend.
like a
Did
couple of spare jocks.
Was she saying, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean this," or there's some confusion, or
Yeah, and even then, I still wasn't able to say like, I'm not happy and I need a change. Like even at that point where it was clear there were issues, and we started going to, like, she wanted to go to marriage counselling, and I couldn't say, oh, thanks but no thanks, let's just break up. And so I kind of, it was like an awkward period where I was pretending to go through the motions or whatever.
So you attended marriage counselling?
Yeah. Then.
But you knew that it didn't matter?
Yeah. And then.
Do you think a lot of people go through that? When they go to marriage counselling and they're just doing it so they can tick the box and say, I've done everything?
Yeah, I've tried.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah. And then, yeah, we were separated for a year and then we filed for divorce. But even after that year period when we went to finalise the paperwork, she was still like, are we really doing this and stuff like that. So it was something I'd well and truly, I don't know, I spent our whole relationship processing it, I guess. I just got back from a 2-week holiday with my new girlfriend from Bali, went straight to the cafe to sign the documents and everything. Yeah.
So the reason that you was off kissing other girls at the pubs and clubs or whatever was actually because you wasn't bothered about your marriage?
I don't know. I don't know how much of it was the way I felt about my partner and how much was just like, I'm really, really drunk right now.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Like, I don't think I would have.
That may have been, for any other marriage, would have just been a stupid mistake. You don't know how much of it was that.
Yeah. Like, I don't think I would have done it if I was sober, potentially.
Do you think that alcohol makes people be honest? And behave in the way they really want to behave?
Yeah. Like, and not necessarily, I don't think it affects everyone the same way, but there is the term liquid courage, which I could probably relate to. Like, it's maybe not everyone's experience, but...
It's funny, isn't it? Because, you know, when you've had alcohol and you're in that state of... Because, in fact, you can even do it with very little alcohol, in my experience.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a little bit of alcohol and it can give you some courage to do whatever it is you need to do.
Yeah.
Whether it's saying to your boss you want a pay rise, you're at the pub with your boss, you go, look, I really should have a pay rise.
Yeah.
And then, but I feel like I've been in that moment thinking, knowing I can do this without alcohol. Why do I have to be here?
Yeah.
And why can't I be better at just telling people and being courageous? I wonder if it's the kind of thing that causes alcoholism. You know, the fact that some things become, like, some filters are removed in your brain.
The cause and solution to all of life's problems.
Yeah, get drunk.
Yeah.
See, my dad was an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
He drank for God knows how long, decades and decades. He drank the equivalent of a litre of whiskey every single day.
That's a good effort. No disrespect or anything.
But I don't know what was wrong with him. Like, as we got towards the later years, like, he died last year.
Mm-hmm.
But as we got towards the end, I actually started thinking he's actually depressed.
Yeah.
Like the alcohol there's a cause that's never been understood.
Yep.
Because he used to talk about his sister that died when he was really young, and how he, I don't know, how he loved her and stuff. And up until a certain point, I'd never even known about this.
Okay.
So then I started to think, as he's getting quite a bit older, it's like he's starting to get in touch with the emotions that he's not really been talking about, or
Yeah. Yeah.
but perhaps too late because he just drinks all the time.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I have this strange relationship with alcohol because I hated being at my... I used to be an accountant in the UK.
Yep.
And so even in recent years, I'd work electronics in a job like this. Not that that means anything to these viewers.
We don't have jobs.
So I'd have a normal 9-to-5 job, and then at the weekend I'd go and do accounting to work with my dad, and
Yep.
and I became a director of his small company.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, as you may know, because we work together, I'm a bit of a night owl.
Yeah.
I'm not an early
Yeah.
morning person, and I find that my ability, my mental ability, increases as it gets late.
Yeah.
My dad argued with me about this. He said that's impossible. Your brain's getting tighter, and I think actually, it may be because I'm somewhere on some kind of autism or Asperger's spectrum. It sounds very weird, but I feel that when my brain gets tired, the perfectionism gets tired, but the skill remains.
Yeah.
So it enables me to be more productive and get some good stuff done.
Yep. That was just my watch.
All right.
Beeps on the hour.
So, what was I talking about?
Not being a night owl.
Oh, so I'd be at my dad's house, and I would arrive. It was getting later and later that I'd arrive on a Saturday, and he would have been up at like 5 working on accounts, and so there was like a bit of overlap. And I think he was lonely, and to have me there working on accounts, he also used it as a way of just standing. We were like, there's a kitchen and there's a little dining area, and I'd have a desk in the dining area, and I'd be doing accounts and stuff, and he'd be stood in the kitchen with his hand shaking with a glass of whiskey, chatting to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to do this stuff. And then it would get to a point where he'd be just out of control. Not out of control in like one of these violent, angry ways.
Yeah.
You just see bodily, he's everywhere.
Yeah.
And you'd see him, he'd be talking, and all of a sudden you'd just stop talking and saunter away, and he'd go to bed. And I don't know why, but I feared him dying.
Yeah.
So whilst he was asleep, I feared him dying, and I hated being there. And I hated that whole thing with him and alcohol.
Yeah.
But I love to go to the pubs.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not a regular thing I do,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
love the opportunity to go
Yep.
and just get drunk with friends.
Yeah.
Not obliterated, because I don't like that.
Yeah. But as a social thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you do start to have that courage and be honest with people. And, I mean, I do feel that I'm a very honest person, and I try to be.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's one of my values. So I suppose it's slightly twisted to more towards courage rather than honesty.
Yeah.
Like letting the honesty out more.
Yeah. Or being brave enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I never drank the equivalent of a bottle of whiskey or anything like that, but I think twice in the short time I was married, my wife had an intervention to take all the alcohol out of the house and stuff like that.
Because of the experience in the prior days?
Just because of how much I was drinking. I was drinking, I've always had a full-time job since I was 16, and I'd drink every day after work, and then I worked for a supermarket, so I might have a midweek day off, and she'd go to work, and she might come home in the middle of the day, and I'd be passed out on the couch with the dog. I would wait half an hour till she left the house in case she forgot something and had to come back before I would start drinking, on my days off when she wasn't there. And it was always like a source of contention for us because like we'd be at a wedding or an engagement party or something, and I'd just like once I'd have one sip, I just think my brain just was chasing the endorphins and everything that you only get with the first drink, but you still keep trying anyway. And she'd be like, "Put it down," and then I'd just be like, "Give me more." Yeah.
Would it cause more? You know, because she would say put it down. Would that make you more want to have more?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it wouldn't matter if it was like if her or a friend or a stranger who said it.
Anybody saying that?
Yeah. This is a great first episode.
This is hard stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, hardcore stuff. We've gone straight for the jugular.
Oh, yes and no. And like even now still, like I'm probably sad for different reasons, but I go through phases where I'll drink a lot and phases where I don't. And I'm not in a bad phase right now.
Have you ever been in a bad phase whilst I've worked here over the last 9 months?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. There was a little while where it was unusual if I wasn't like severely hungover at work, like every day and stuff.
And being severely hungover, I know how it feels to be hungover, but mentally, how would that make you feel being here?
Not too bad, like fine. You can tell makes work hard and stuff, but I don't have a severely draining job, and I've never been told off for anything, so that helps. Well, I've been told off for something once.
By whom?
Bradley.
Your dad. I'll
Yes.
just say for the viewers.
For those following at home.
Your dad told you off because, of course, your dad's kind of your boss.
Yeah. But
What
he
did he
just
tell you off for?
just having too much stuff in the warehouse.
Oh, sorry, specifically a work matter.
Yeah.
Too much stuff in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Right.
But that was just his.
Sorry, the link is that because you was hungover, if you wasn't hungover, and he doesn't necessarily know that you was hungover, but if you wasn't hungover, things would have moved through the warehouse more or something.
Oh no, like sending emails would be easier.
But was it?
I wasn't
was it the
told over
hangover?
because I was hungover. No.
But was it? But was you being told off because of a result of your performance due to the hangover, even though he doesn't know that you're hungover?
No. They're completely separate.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, sorry. That was just me. When I said I've been told off twice, I mean my entire career here.
Oh, sorry.
Not to rub it in.
Oh, so now you give me the examples.
Yeah.
I get it. Sorry, my bad.
No, all good. But when, so I make a lot less mistakes now. Like when I was younger, sometimes I would drive 30 k's to work drunk and start my shift drunk and stuff like that, and like drive home from parties and the pub and stuff like that.
I've been arrested for drink driving before.
Oh yeah?
I
In
crashed
here or over there?
in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they still let you in?
I was more worried about because before I left the UK, as you know, I worked at Rolls-Royce and I worked on the nuclear submarines,
Yep.
doing the circuits for those. And to get in, you have to go through this whole security vetting process. And when I found out, I never thought I'd be able to work at Rolls-Royce. I didn't think, because I've not got a degree.
Yeah.
I thought, and I knew that you've got to be like, you've got to have degrees and stuff to get into
Yeah.
Rolls-Royce.
They're Rolls-Royce.
Yeah, and so it was only when a friend of mine that I'd worked really well with, we were great colleagues and, you know, we always helped each other out, that he went to Rolls-Royce and very quickly became a team leader. And it was only then, he said, oh, I'm leaving to go to Rolls-Royce. And I was like gutted because I knew we worked together so well. And I also knew that he's going somewhere where I'd love to go but could never go.
Yeah.
And But then he contacted me a few years later, says, I'm team leader and I'd love you to come and work with us. And I'm like, well, I've not got a degree. He says, yeah, I don't think it'll be an issue. He says, I know you, and I know you're better than a lot of people that I've met with degrees. And he said, you're going to have to go through... He said, normally, because you'd be coming into my team, the hardware design team, normally I'd be doing the interviews as a team leader, but it's got to be independent. So it'll be people outside of our team doing the interviews. And it went really well. And then I thought, we was getting to the security checks, and I thought, God, if this drink driving thing screws me over, it's like I've had a carrot dangled, like some hope, some light.
Yeah.
Not that I was in a terrible place, but I wanted to really use my skills in something really good.
Yeah.
And I could see the opportunity, and to think that I might have wrecked that from something I did when I was 18 years old was like really scary.
Yeah. Do you I don't know how record keeping works or anything, but that was like still on your record and everything?
Oh, so there was a glimmer of hope, because in the UK they have this thing where it always stays on your record, but it doesn't have to be declared to anybody after 10 years, that particular offence. And it's all about being able to give people a chance to like...
reform.
Yeah.
Yeah, still have opportunities in their life.
And correct themselves.
And,
And so I was like, I can remember saying to Melissa, I've got a 10-year-old, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Filling in the form. And I get to this thing where it says, because we're military, it doesn't apply, so you have to put down every crime that you've committed. I'm like, oh, God. But it was all right. I mean, people had said, people were encouraging, and people saying, are they really going to care?
Yeah.
You know, how many people do that? And in the end, it was okay.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Well, that's good. I'm glad.
So I was 18 when I crashed my car drink driving.
Yeah.
And obviously not proud of it. I can smile about it looking back here and now.
It's a coping mechanism, smiling sometimes.
Yeah. I think with the advantage of the fact that I never hurt anybody in this situation, which is luck.
Lucky, yeah, for sure.
I think it's a good thing that happened, actually, because it taught me a lesson.
Yeah.
So now, up until I moved to Australia, since I was 18, after that occasion, if I even had a sip of alcohol, I would never drive a car.
Yep.
So, like I was saying, I'm very black and white. So it made it for me that you touch alcohol, you don't drive.
Yep.
It's that easy.
Throw your keys in the bushes.
Yeah. Because, then I wouldn't touch any alcohol when I drove. And I maintained that, a perfect record, because of this perfectionism and black and white. And until I got to Australia, actually, 4 years ago. But not to say, I would never drink above the limit, ever.
Yeah.
But I suppose I've moved
if you had one beer, you'd still drive.
Yeah, I've moved into the grey area. So, my colleagues... Oh, I'll wait till you sit down. My colleagues in Australia helped me move into the grey area where I would have one beer and drive.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of doing that, and I do avoid it, but I don't have such a hard line on it.
Yeah.
That's probably a bad thing.
One of my mates growing up, not really growing up, the guy I lived with when I was engaged, I kind of worked with, every Wednesday was pub night, and we'd all go to the pub, and he'd always drive back when he shouldn't have. And now he works in the police force. So...
Yeah, I remember when I got done for drink driving, what actually happened was I crashed the car. Actually, me and a couple of mates had been to a nightclub. No cars, buses and taxis or whatever. And we got... I may recall wrong, so I apologise if anybody knows me watching this, who was actually there.
We just apologise in general.
But the way that I recall, we got back home using taxis or whatever, and my mate had pulled this girl who was a family friend of mine.
Yeah.
And my other mate had pulled a girl. I hadn't. Look at me. And so we got back to the place. I was living with my mate at the time. I moved out of home when I was 17, moved in with a mate.
Yep.
And so I was living at his house, got back home, and he wanted to get rid of me because the two of them, you know,
Yeah. They had better
they got
things to
partnered,
do.
yeah. And they didn't need me loitering around and
Yep.
being bored and lonely. So he sent me to the local petrol station,
Yeah.
the garage, to get a pint of milk. He said, oh, we're going to need a pint of milk in the morning. And you're going to get a pint of milk. So I got in my car
Yep.
and drove to the petrol station, which is like, I don't know, 2K from...
Yep. So he was hoping you were going to walk.
I don't know. I didn't even... We were drunk.
Yep.
Oh, we were very drunk.
Mm-hmm.
But I drove down to the petrol station fine, got the milk, and on the way back up, I think it had been raining anyway, but the road was wet and I just lost control. Obviously because I was drunk,
Yep.
but I could say because it's wet, but I was drunk. And I just slammed the car into an island
Yep.
roundabout,
Mhm.
but it was like a solid wall round the roundabout.
Yep.
And I legged it really fast down to his house and told him what had happened. We both legged it back up
Yeah.
and was trying to move the car out of the way.
Yeah.
And then, because nobody was hurt, nobody else was there, and we just thought if we get the car out of the way,
Yeah.
nothing more needs to happen. And I suppose I wasn't thinking through the fact that I didn't even need to be there. I could have just legged it anyway and say the car was stolen,
Yeah.
although that gets complicated
Yeah.
because it started with a key.
Yeah.
But then a police car came around the corner
Yeah.
and he said, just run. And I just said, no, I'm just going to tell him what's happened.
Yeah.
He ran, but he was all right. He's got nothing to do with it. But police car came around the corner, and my mum was what in the UK at the time was called a special police officer.
Okay.
That basically work for free
Yeah.
whenever they can, volunteering.
Yeah.
And so we knew. We had police officers come round to the house just to see my mum, just
Yeah.
friendly,
Yeah.
social. So a police car comes round the corner, and I walked up to the police car and opened the back door and got in. They'd not even got out of the car.
Yeah.
And I said, I've been drink driving. And I looked at the police officer that was driving, and it was mum's friend. And I looked at the passenger, it was mum's friend. And I was like, oh, Sean, what have you been doing? And they said, right, we'll take you into the station.
Mm-hmm.
And I arrived at the station, and the, I don't know what rank he was, but it's like captain, I don't know, higher ranking officer
Yeah.
who books you in at the police station, went through the door, and the high ranking officer is my dad's next door neighbour. I'm like, oh God, and he's like, Sean, what are you doing? And there's like this whole thing of me thinking, I'm going to lose my licence, I've got all these problems that are going to come from this, and I've got the embarrassment of all these people saying I should know better.
Yeah.
So it was a nightmare.
If that won't teach you a lesson, I don't know what will. So did you have any stories or anything you want to say? Anything else you want to touch on?
We've probably spent enough time, haven't we?
Yeah.
Do you think you'll get enough out of that?
Oh yeah.
Are you the material that we've got here about your relationship? Are you gonna put that in, or
Probably.
because most of it is that?
Oh yeah. Or maybe I'll fuzz over some of it.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, obviously not the internet, but most people who know me, not many people know me, but most people know that story and stuff.
Yeah, the story that you've told is in the past, and
Yeah.
actually, there's nothing disrespectful to your ex. If anything, it's about what the problems that you had
Yeah.
and
yeah.
how that affected things.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I will share. I don't know with time whether we'll do this next time, but I've got some that you'll like. I wasn't joking, that we could do.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to cut out for a few years,
Mm-hmm.
or indefinitely, depending on. So, just the intro
Mm-hmm.
is that I'm considering leaving my wife. Let me just make sure that I don't accidentally dial her.
Pocket dial.
Pardon?
No pocket dialing.
Sorry.
I was stressed for a second there.
Yeah, so I'm seriously considering leaving Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
We've been together 25 years.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult, actually. Even just thinking about it, it's difficult talking about it. Not because like, I don't mind talking about stuff.
Yep.
It's difficult talking about it because, let's say that I reach a point where I think, no, this was stupid. I don't know why my mind got into this place.
Yep.
I fear talking about it because if that results in us just staying together anyway,
Yep.
but then I've been talking about it as though we're going to split up, then how that ethically has an impact on my wife,
Yep.
if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Like if it makes her change or like...
I suppose here's an example. Like, we're going to be recording some of this stuff,
Yep.
and if, for argument's sake, if talking about it to you makes me think, or talking about it to another mate makes me think, oh no, we'll just stay together, that's the right thing.
Yeah.
And then, for argument's sake, it got leaked, the video,
Yeah.
and then she hears what I was thinking about my point in time,
Yeah.
and then she's like, oh right, well that's, that's
Yeah, that's an
complicated.
issue. Yeah. Yeah. If she was thinking, oh, last June things were so rosy and
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not quite as clean cut as that because she knows that I'm thinking about it.
Yep.
And I went through this phase about, a couple of years ago before COVID was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the circumstances were a little bit different then. Shall I reveal all?
If you'd like to. You don't have to. And I can delete the footage and
Yeah.
stuff, or we can
Or
turn
store
it
it.
off. Yes. Yeah.
Safely
Yeah,
in
yeah.
an encrypted drive.
Yeah. Not on the company Dropbox.
Oh no, don't let Tim get it.
It'll be in the staff newsletter.
But a couple of years ago, do you want to do another 20 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's fine.
So maybe we won't do the divorce thing, but set the scene
Okay.
and talk. We spoke about you meeting at 21. No,
Married at 21.
married at 21. met
Engaged at 19.
Yeah. So I met Melissa. We knew each other growing up from a social club.
Yep.
And her and I worked behind the bar at that social club when I turned 18.
Yep.
And she's 4 years older than me, so she was 22.
Mm-hmm.
Both having a great time working behind the bar. And we had a right laugh. It was good. And then somebody came to the bar. His name was Louis. Hi, Louis. He is a Facebook friend of mine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he... and incidentally, his daughter passed her driving test, I think it was yesterday. So congratulations, Louise.
Way to go.
Don't drink and drive. So he would come to the bar and he said, are you two... And this was embarrassing for me.
Yeah.
She was 4 years older than me. I'm 18.
Yeah.
Not embarrassing because I was like, there's no chance I could
Yeah.
get her.
Yeah.
And he was coming to the bar saying, I'm sure you two must be an item, the way that you get on and the rapport and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, going red, no. But then it got the cogs turning in my head thinking, yeah, I wish.
If Louis thinks it's possible.
Then it must be
Yeah.
possible. And yeah, so I suppose it got the cogs going in my head. And of course it must have made her think about it, whether she had or not before.
Yeah.
And she, and so somehow, I can't even remember how we progressed it to the point of going out together. I don't know where I got that confidence, because in that arena...
It was the full head of hair.
Yeah. Well, I went, and she said, oh, do you want to go on a date?
You're reaching for the bottom on the bottom shelf.
The thing is, when you work behind a bar with an attractive girl and they reach for the bottom shelf, you do get to see their figure.
Yeah.
That's why I was laughing. So somehow, God knows how, I managed to get it so that we were going to go. It was getting more towards us going on a date or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the meantime, she'd gone off with, like, one guy took her out, and another guy took her out.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit irritated because I thought I was getting somewhere and going to be the guy who got to go out with her.
Yeah.
And she'd also dated, and the social club was a soccer social club.
Yeah.
And she dated a few of the players of the team. They were all fit and muscular and all that.
Yeah.
So I'd also got that to kind of contend with, although that didn't bother me at that stage, because you know the stage where it's not your girlfriend,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. You've got a target, an objective,
Yeah.
and you're equal to everybody else.
Yeah.
I think that kind of thing got more difficult for me. Jealousy, when she was actually my good girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then those same footballers would come and talk to her, and I was like, yeah, what are you thinking? And,
Yeah.
and knowing that they're, in some respects, better than me, or certainly feeling that football is a lot better than me,
Yeah.
and knowing that I've got her, but why wouldn't you choose him?
Yeah.
But, so we went on some dates and went to some pubs, and it was like, there's a few of us, and my best mate would go out with us. And then I can remember going back to her mum's house where she lived, and like, we'd had sex, and you definitely can't put this in her mum's living room.
Yeah.
But it just happened so easily. It just felt so right. It wasn't like, I can't even explain.
Nothing awkward or.
Yeah, it just happened. It flowed, and
Yeah.
and then so more of that happened in the days that passed, and then it was only a few weeks before she told me that she was pregnant,
Yep.
and I was like. The thing is, this black and white in me, I loved her. Like, I have to use past tense because we're talking about the past.
Yeah. Yeah. Understand.
So I loved her. I was really attracted to her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I knew what love was. Maybe for me, maybe being attracted to somebody sexually felt like that's what love is.
Yeah. How old were you at this time?
So I was 18.
Yep.
And so then when she came back and said she was pregnant, it was a no-brainer for me. I loved her.
Mm-hmm.
We were in love.
Yep.
And she was pregnant. So, okay, all right. I had this belief that there's no need for... I couldn't contemplate considering an abortion, me personally.
Yep.
For no reason, just that it's just not what I knew.
Yep.
There's nothing drilled into me. It wasn't about the fact that it was Catholics.
Mm-hmm.
I just never saw that as an option. But I said, it's fine. If you want to keep... I don't even imagine I said, if you want to keep the kid. I imagine I said, well, that's okay. You know,
Yeah.
we'll bring the kid up.
Yep.
And then she was umming and ahhing between that and having an abortion. And in hindsight, now, 25 years later, having a 22-year-old daughter and an 18-year-old daughter, of course she needed to weigh those options up. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
And a big life changer that I didn't appreciate being the father of this baby.
Yeah.
But I said to her, but I'd support you and stand by you. But ultimately she decided to have an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think... I was fine with that.
Yep.
although I suppose it felt a little bit like rejection for me, because I thought, well, we're in love. What's the issue? We're going
Yeah.
to stay together forever.
Yeah.
Naively, perhaps.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, having an abortion, as you say, no. Well, that's not what I said to her, but that's the way it felt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't upset, but being this black and white character, mentally, I'd committed. I thought, I need to commit to being with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd made that commitment internally. So then when she had the abortion, I felt like I had to show that I meant that I was committed.
Yeah.
So therefore, that meant, that's it, we were together forever then.
Yeah.
Even though there was no kid, that meant that we, in some views, had to be together.
You weren't doing it for the baby or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, next time we'll go further, I suppose.
Step 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you were saying that, it reminded me how, like, me doing a poor breakup in my 4.5-year marriage, it wasn't like this happened and then in my next relationship I'd learnt everything and I was really good. I did break up with my next girlfriend. We were together for 2 years, but I was at uni and I was talking to some of my mates in the uni pub and I'm like, oh yeah, I've got this big weekend with my girlfriend planned. She might see this because we're still good friends. Hi. I don't know how much I've ever told her about this. But I was telling my friends how I'm like, was unhappy and stuff and I'll probably break up like on the weekend. And I just told her how we're like going away. Like I told my mates how we're going away together and like going to spend this nice weekend together. And they're like, you can't break up with her at the end of like, a romantic getaway. They're like, you got to do it before. And I was like, oh. And I was...
that'd be even worse.
Yeah.
No, I'm kind of joking, but break up before and then go on the holiday together.
So you're still good for Friday? No, and I spent 8 hours at the uni pub drinking that day and made a lot of new friends. And one of their friends drove me home and I had a couple more drinks. And then my housemate, who after I broke up with my girlfriend, asked me out on some dates. She drove me to my girlfriend's house to break up with her. And when I did it, because I was drunk, she didn't think I was serious and we caught up again.
Oh, she didn't think you were serious about her?
About the breakup.
Oh, right, about the breakup.
Because I was drunk, she didn't think I was serious about the breakup.
Yeah.
And then I had to break up with her again. And that was like, I thought the first time was bad. So yeah, moral of the story is I didn't learn after, it was better than the first time I broke up with someone, but it still wasn't anything to be proud about. And then after that, everyone else has broken up with me, so that's the easy way out.
Mm. When I moved to Australia and went to my first job here,
Mm-hmm.
it was difficult to discern between what was Australian culture, because it's surprising how different it feels to me and to my family when we first arrived. It was difficult to discern what was Australian culture and what was this new company that I'd started at's culture.
Yeah.
They were all intertwined for me because I worked lots of hours and then I suppose I have romantic memories about the way that things are. I get used to a culture, and then if I leave that culture, I look back at it and think, oh, it's good the way that worked.
Yeah. No.
One of the things that this first employer in Australia was this like a pub culture of we'll go to the pub and chat and and it seemed strange to me after coming from Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
But I got used to it and it was nice because it felt very. You could it's casual, catch up and really bond well. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that they used to do is when they interviewed people, the third interview would be to take the person to the pub.
Yep.
And maybe strategically, but get the guys down, just chat.
Yeah.
Can we get on?
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I was going through in my mind, I'm well behind getting some new recruits into our team. Big mistake of mine that it's been so long. I like to make the excuse, I feel that it's the right excuse, that I've been so busy trying to sort other things out.
Yeah.
But excuses are excuses. And I thought, God, it'd be good if me and Joseph could take this person.
Yeah. I'm down.
But actually, I didn't realise that you did drink, because of your family.
Yeah. Yeah, I drink. Yeah.
Cool.
And I can be professional as well when necessary. I can put on a brave face.
Yeah, but I don't think necessarily, in my view of taking you to the pub with a person, it is the Joseph that we know and love.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't have to put... want people that see... It's like the whole honesty thing of mine. I don't want to be anybody different to who I am in an interview even.
Yeah.
I want the person to come here knowing as much as they can in an interview who we are. And
Yeah. Yeah, I guess half of it's about, like, are we a right fit for them as well as are they a right fit for us?
Don't want somebody here who doesn't feel comfortable. Or
Yeah, exactly.
Here being the place where we both work, which we shall not mention.
Yeah, it's been a couple of times people have like gotten together for work drinks and stuff, and it's always like a little awkward and stuff. Like, not awkward, but I don't know. Like, we went to the pub yesterday because it was, the day before because it was Brandon's last shift.
All right.
And we were talking about something. Oh, someone brought up veganism and everything, and I was saying some stuff, and after a second I was like, oh, I prefer talking about awkward work stuff, because everyone was just there like, oh, tell us more. I'm like,
yeah, I like going to the pub. Put me down on the invite list when people are going.
Yeah, I think the last time we only ever do it really, it's mostly when people are leaving, which...
We can arrange that.
Yeah. Be in my office at 5 o'clock on Monday night.
We need to go to the pub, so you're fired.
Yeah. Here's your 2 weeks. Jog on. But when Eric left, we just had, like, one of the guys brought us some beers and stuff. He's like, we'll do it in the car park. I'm like, I don't know if security will like that, so we, like, went, not in here, off the property, and it was like during COVID times, and it was like so awkward because we were like drinking on the bike path and stuff, and like people were walking past, and I'm like, I like drinking outside, but this is weird.
Yeah, I like being in pubs and I love it in the city.
Yeah.
Like, I suppose, saying about getting used to a culture, one of the places I worked was in Cremorne, near Richmond, and it's got a real night buzz there.
Yeah.
Have you been around that area drinking?
A little bit, yeah, not heaps, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of, because this whole romantic memory thing,
yeah,
I miss that kind of thing. Yeah.
There's an episode of Black Books. Have you seen that?
It's funny you should mention this, because this is a British comedy that I've never heard a thing about. And about a month ago, my Australian friend, a good friend of mine here, messaged me and says, have you ever watched Black Books?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never heard of it, and I put it on. It's quite good.
It is. Well, there's an episode where Bernard was talking about getting a summer girlfriend who would wear summer dresses and everything like that. And it reminded me of that. But I was thinking I should say to you that as an Australian, everything I know about like the UK and stuff, it's from like
Black Books.
80s and 90s English television programs.
Because your mum and dad watch a lot of British telly, don't they?
Yeah. When most kids my age were learning their ABCs, I was watching The Bill and stuff like that.
But they're really into British telly then.
Yeah. Well, 2 o'clock on the ABC used to be The Bill, and I would watch it every day. And like I had books, like the Bill books and stuff with like all the stuff, and like I used to keep a journal every day.
Yeah.
And there was one day when did you watch like if I say a character, would you?
In The Bill?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, there was one character who I liked. He was like a main character, and he got stabbed. And I was a kid, and Ravens. I was a kid, and like in the show, that I think someone like swore at someone or called someone a name, or like I think I just wrote in there like, "Oh, these bastards" and stuff like. And then later on, I was like, "Oh, I've got to try to find that and cross it out because I've sworn in my journal." But yeah, everything I know about. So like, I think personally, like, I just assume you're like, "Oh yeah, I've seen every British TV show," and
Of course, I'd have seen many because, of course, I'm a bit older as well. I go back to the days when there was only 4 channels in the UK,
Yeah,
so you had
okay.
to watch one of the mainstream things that there were. But something interesting that you've prompted in me: swearing in Australia.
yeah,
Do you know?
culture shock or
Yeah, I'm driving along in the car in the middle of the day with the kids in the car with
Yeah.
the radio on, and they're swearing,
yeah,
and I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus. And it's like just normalised a little bit.
yeah. I watch a lot of like I see a lot of TikToks where like British people or Americans comment on the shock of swearing in Australia, and growing up we couldn't swear or anything. Like if I said crap or something like that, I'd get in trouble, and I've heard my parents swear now that I work for them and stuff, and that's been like that's been funny.
It's strange because, yeah, we weren't allowed to swear as kids.
Mm.
My mum and dad separated when I was about 10,
Mhm.
but in neither of our houses, my mum's or my dad's, would we swear.
Yeah,
And, yeah, and even words like crap,
yeah,
my dad would be like, why do you need to, you can choose a different word. And,
Yeah.
and of course, like, and I can see that in myself now with my kids.
yeah,
When they may say something, like if my kids say to somebody, shut up, I'm like, hang on a minute. No.
yeah,
And depending on if it was appropriate to tell somebody to be quiet, then I'd say, no, it's not shut up, it's be quiet.
yeah.
And
Well, shut up. It's strong language, but it's not cussing or anything.
no,
And like I think for a lot of Australians, swearing or cussing isn't necessarily meant to be offensive or anything.
no, I think the difference is, because amongst friends, in the UK, if I went out with friends to the pub, we'd all be swearing all the time, all
Yeah.
through the night.
Yeah,
I think the difference was but if I took my 6-year-old to the
Uh-huh.
park, I wouldn't be swearing with the adults that I was with, that I was
Yeah.
out with the night before.
yeah,
Like making boundaries about what respect is for the children.
yeah,
Even if it doesn't matter, it's just a word.
Yeah.
It's like those boundaries. But then when you're driving in the car and on the radio, it's just normal for everybody to be swearing.
yeah,
Like, it's difficult to. The kids are hearing it and learning it,
yeah.
and how do you set the line? It becomes very blurred and difficult.
Yeah, and even if you don't swear around your kids, they're like other people swear around their kids, and they all
Yeah,
go to
here they
hang
do.
out in the playground. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And like, look, we're not naive enough to think that the children don't swear, and perhaps even the young children will swear to each other. Because I remember being young and swearing to my
Yeah.
mates at school. But it's about them knowing that they have to show respect to people. And I suppose my belief is that the way they do that is control the way that they talk in front of people that they're supposed to be respecting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think when I was, and some jobs I've had, it was more common to swear and everything, and so I'd never thought about it. But then I think I don't really have any issues with holding back at work or anything like that. But
Oh, you'll happily swear here,
oh yeah,
even if your mum and dad are in the room.
no, like I think I can go around my day fine without swearing.
Oh, sorry.
But every now and then, depending on what mood I'm in, I will say anything, like no holds barred. Like there's used in the right way, some words are a great descriptive or really get a point across.
Yeah. Great descriptive. I'm worried about some of the words you could use descriptive. They may, but better if they're not describing something and they're just randomly thrown.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like,
Do you know, speaking of swearing,
yeah.
I've been on one stag do in my life.
One what? Oh, yeah.
Stag do, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember where I went. Somewhere in Europe from the UK, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was really excited to go on this stag do. Oh, we went somewhere where a British comedy's filmed. Where is it Ibiza?
Yeah, it could be.
Or is there a comedy that?
Nah. That's the party island, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we went there and was in the local airport, and I saw, it must have been 7 a.m. and they're getting drinks, of which I'm not used to, and they're like, "Oh, do you want a lager?" I'm like, "Okay." and then I looked across, and there was these gorgeous netball team in their netball stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going, Tony, look over there.
Yeah.
And he's looking up. He's going, yeah. I said, I'm almost taking it seriously. I'm like, why have they got the kit on now?
Yeah.
And then he said, look who they play for. And it said, Cambridge United netball team.
Yeah.
And I was saying, Cambridge United, I can't believe they're probably professionals. He said, just read it down the side. Oh, dear. They were still nice, whether they're professional or not.
Yeah. Nice. That's gold. Oh, did you see the Northern Territory's marketing campaign to get tourists into the?
Okay. I'm starting to imagine.
See you in the NT.
Yeah, me and Melissa were also shocked. Like, we saw an advert on TV the other week, and she said to me, I'm shocked at that advert. They'd never get away with that in the UK.
Yeah.
And I said, I noticed that as well. BCF.
Oh, BCFing fun. Oh dear. Yeah.
It's been good.
Yeah,
It's been good. I think it'll be good to keep having these. I think we've been having these conversations around the factory anyway.
Yeah.
But
any chance to get out of doing work, I'll take.
Bradley won't watch this.
No, I don't think so.
I'm only joking. I don't care what you think. I would do enough hours. If I spend 5 minutes talking to you or 10 minutes talking to you. He's a talker anyway, your dad is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gift of the gab.
I'm sure he gets to the point now where he knows, like, you know, I pick up on these phrases that people have a phrase or a few phrases.
Like a wind-up phrase?
What? No, just something that they say a lot.
Uh-huh.
Like
their their catchphrases.
Yeah, it's like a word that's end up not even using properly because they throw it in everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think. My brother's got one. What's he say? I can't think. But your dad. I think I mentioned this the other day. Your dad will tell a joke. Yeah, I did mention it the other day.
Yeah.
Your dad will tell a joke, and then if nobody finds it funny, or if nobody shows that they find it funny, they say, that's just a small attempt at humour. So you've got to laugh when he says that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I say the best type of jokes are the ones you have to explain to people.
Yeah. Although it's embarrassing being the person that has to have it explained to them.
Yeah. Well, is it a reflection on the teller or the telly?
Yeah. Oh, we could do one week, one of our sessions.
We just tell jokes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some jokes.
Do you want to hear a joke?
Yeah. Does it matter if I don't get it?
No. This will be interesting to see if there's a humour crossover.
I have watched The Castle, and The Castle.
I'm from Adelaide, so we say castle.
I'm not sure what is that in between those two variations that I did.
You
From
said
the UK, I say The Castle.
okay.
Or what?
I say castle.
That's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's more of a car.
Or castle. People in Victoria say castle
Castle.
quite often. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But the joke is, there was a man in New Zealand.
I'm sorry, but I feel under so much pressure to get this joke. Start again.
There was a person in New Zealand driving through the countryside. You know, they were doing a bit of speeding, and they look in their rearview mirror, and there's a cop behind them, and pulls over. And the cop walks up to the window, sticks his arm in the window, and says, "You're under arrest."
Very good. Yeah.
It's going to be a long episode. We'll put a laughter track in there.
Mine will be dad jokes. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm a dad, and you've not got that excuse, so yours
Well,
can
I've
be
got
good.
the dad body. And the dad farts.
I'll do one joke for you.
Okay.
This is like an intro to that session that we're going to do.
Yeah, to get everyone's taste buds.
Yeah. This is what you've got to come in the future.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
What do you call a deer with no eyes?
No idea. It's a good one.
Yeah. That's not the end. What do you call a deer with no eyes and no legs?
I forget all of them. What?
Oh, you know all of them.
I know one of them's still no fucking idea.
Oh, I've told you before, have I?
No, I've heard it's a good joke. I've heard it.
Can't use that.
Why are pirates pirates?
'Cause they are.
And what's a pirate's favourite letter?
R.
You think it's the R, but it's really the C. That's great
It's
because
good that I didn't know that one.
yeah, if people know the first one, they only sometimes know the second one, and they're like, "I gotcha."
And in any case, even if they don't get the first one, you can tell them, then do the second one.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
Right, I suppose you better put a tail on this. Do you have to finish it off? Like, do you have to say something to finish it?
Well, we
or-
can. So this thus ended the first awkward inaugural session of a conversation between Joseph and Sean. And see you later.
See you next time, viewers. Oh, that's good.